A lovely Thursday morning, and it is the 10th of August already, Cozy. And we are back on the Camnet breakfast show. Myself, Patrick Soko, and my co-host, Makokwa Cozy, for the Thursday edition of the Camnet breakfast show, where we focus on governance, politics, and policy. So, interesting enough, Cozy, as we are keeping it positive, and Miriam Kaimba, I want to find out if you are also positive in terms of starting the day.
Yeah, obviously when you start the day, you start it on a positive note, and I think I'm starting it on a positive note, though yesterday the ending was not very, very good. There was a very disturbing video that we saw of a man that was brutally beating a woman. I think that society in this age and era should move away from such kind of acts. But anyways, that said, it's still a positive Thursday. The day looks bright. We look forward to a lot of activity today, and we keep it positive.
Interesting. So we keep it positive, and we have to make sure that we go for whatever we want to go for this day, and make sure we grab our share. Otherwise, if we fold our hands, it will be our arms. It will be difficult for us to be able to make any progress for the rest of the day. So we just have to keep it positive and keep pushing. That's the way we ride. And just to move on our program this morning, we just have to look at our first segment, which is the Health Corner with the doctors.
Hi, good morning and welcome to the Health Corner here on the Breakfast Show. I am Dr. Nakobena Mfaya. So this week we are talking about depression, and yesterday we talked about some of the signs and symptoms of depression. We say that people who are depressed, they might have feelings of sadness or depressed mood for about 2 weeks or more, and they might also have other symptoms such as loss of interest in activities that they used to enjoy before, such as hobbies, that they used to like to do, or just any activities at home that they used to do that they are not doing anymore. Then they might also have other symptoms of sleeping too much or not sleeping enough, or overeating or not eating enough. Then they might also have fatigue or feelings of tiredness. They might have low concentration at school or at work, and also have slow thinking when it comes to their daily activities. So today we'll talk about the treatment or the diagnosis and treatment of depression. How is it diagnosed in the hospital, and how is it treated? So when it comes to diagnosis, usually it's there are several questionnaires that are used to be able to assess if you are going through depression or not. So these questionnaires will be able to tell whether you have depression or you have some other kind of mood disorder, because there are other mood disorders like bipolar that somebody might have. So it's not just depression that is the only mood disorder. No, they might have other mood disorders like bipolar, or they might have anxiety disorders or some phobias that they might have. So you'll be able to, the doctor will be able to ask you certain questions, and there are some guides that are used to ask these questions so that they can be able to tell whether it's just a phobia or whether it's just another mood disorder that you might be experiencing. Then they might also do some tests to rule out other medical conditions. So in case you have another illness that might be causing you to be depressed, so they might decide to do certain blood tests and other tests that can be able to rule out other medical illnesses that you might be experiencing. The other thing is that when it comes to the treatment, you need to be started on some medications that we call antidepressants. So these medications, they help to produce certain neurotransmitters or certain chemicals in the brain or in the body that can help to regulate your depressed mood or the depression that you're going through. So these are called antidepressants, and they will help you in your thinking, in the way that your body responds to certain things. So there are several classes of these neurotransmitters, and there are different types, and so your doctor will be able to decide on which one is best for you, and depending on whether you have other medical conditions as well, they might also decide to give you certain types of neurotransmitters and other medications. So discuss with your doctor what medication they are putting you on, how it's going to help you, so that you really understand what medications you are getting from the hospital. But it's good to know that there are several medications that can be used to treat depression if you have depression. So make sure that you go to the hospital and get help, so that they can be able to assess whether you need medication or they can do other types of treatment options. So the other options that are there are psychotherapy. So under psychotherapy, we have cognitive therapy, behavior therapy. So these are some therapy sessions that you might be going through with a counselor or a doctor that might help to change the way that you think, the way that you look at the world, because it might just be maybe as a result of a trauma that you might have. So they might be able to walk through the process with you of trying to forget about the trauma or go through the trauma and just help you to get over it. So if you're having some other issues that might be causing you to have depression, like having other illnesses like stroke, they might be able to guide you on how you handle such situations, so that you can come out of the depression that you are having. So apart from the cognitive therapy, they might have behavior therapy. So they might help you to form certain behaviors or certain habits that can help to overcome the depression that you're going through. So they might encourage you to do certain things maybe that you used to like to do before, or adopt new hobbies or new habits that can assist you to come out of depression and just assist you to live a better life overall. So those are some of the therapies that are available for people who might be going through depression. So cognitive therapy, behavior therapy, all these are ways that they can be used to help people who have depression. So if you have depression, do not hesitate to see a doctor or a counselor that is trained to handle such situations, or trained to handle patients who have psychiatric disorders or mental disorders or mood disorders, so that you get the best help, because it's not everybody that can be able to handle people who have mood disorders or mental health disorders. So you need to be able to know that they are certified for this job and they are qualified for this job. So go to people who are trained, who are professional, and who know exactly what they're doing and how to help you, so that you get the best help possible. So if you know somebody who has depression, you know somebody who is having suicidal thoughts or suicidal ideations, you know somebody that maybe has tried to harm themselves in the past, it's important that you help them to get to sessions or to get to therapy, to see a doctor, and to even start medication if there is need for them to start medication. We need to be able to protect each other, look out for each other, and reduce the mental health conditions that are going around and people committing suicide. So we need to look out for others as well, our friends, our family members, so that we can all live healthy lives at the end, because our mental health is tied so much to our overall health. So without good mental health, we are not healthy at all. So we need to be able to protect our mental health and live a healthy life as much as possible. So tomorrow we'll talk about some of the complications of depression and how you can prevent yourself from getting depression, or if you already have depression, how you can prevent from having relapses of depression. So make sure you watch tomorrow again and invite your friends and family. If you missed any episodes, you can always watch my YouTube channel at Dr. Nakubianamfire, where you find all these and more other videos as well. So I'll see you tomorrow. Make sure you stay healthy, stay blessed, and take care of your family as well.
Welcome back. You are watching the Camnet Breakfast Show, and we're looking at the health corner there with Dr. Nakubiana, and I hope you did manage to get yourself abreast with our topic for the day. We always recommend that you can equally share with us some of the topics we want the doctor to tackle. And interesting enough, you have to tell us where you are watching us from on our Camnet TV Facebook page as well as on YouTube. You can give us a like and also share our page to others so that they can equally not miss out on this channel that provides nothing but education, information and entertainment. And right about now we are doing that one responsibility we have to inform you as a people, and we are looking at various segments on the Camnet Breakfast Show. And just moving on, we also have to make sure that we keep you abreast with that what is happening pertaining to the kwacha as of this morning. Let's see how the kwacha is performing. So now the Greater British Pound is buying at 23 kwacha 78 ngwe and selling at 24 kwacha 25 ngwe. The euro is buying at 20 kwacha 50 ngwe and selling at 20 kwacha 90 ngwe. The South African rand is buying at 0.98 kwacha and selling at 1 kwacha, and 1 US dollar is buying at 18 kwacha 66 ngwe and selling at 19 kwacha 03 ngwe. So those are your money market. But before we move away from this page, I just wanted to illustrate something. You can see that as of yesterday we were looking at 19 kwacha on both sides, and we were moving towards the 20 kwacha mark. But however, this morning we are still seeing a twist, because we are back to 18 on the buying side. So now that is an indicator that we continue to have a fluctuating currency, cozy.
Sure.
And that is something that we need to make sure that we pay attention to as a country, because it is difficult to plan and it is undermining various economic activities.
Sure.
So it's quite an interesting subject, the kwacha volatility. I remember when we talk to economists, they usually say the kwacha is fluctuating like a yo-yo, just like that. So, and we just hope that the central bank, the Bank of Zambia, will continue to intervene and make sure that the currency is stabilized, as well as the Ministry of Finance on the other side, making sure that they observe what the bank was always recommend in terms of fiscal discipline, because fiscal discipline is important also towards achieving various economic targets as projected in the national budget. We are seeing that some of the indicators in the national budget are off track, citing the issue of inflation. We targeted that we should have a single-digit inflation, but if you have a look at it, we have a double-digit inflation as of the month of July, and that was as indicated by the Central Statistics Agency. And the Zambia Statistics Agency, now they rebranded, you know, they used to call them CSO, Central Statistics Office, but now the agency has indicated that we are off track in terms of that single digit, and I think something has to be done urgently. But we are we are off the middle of the year, cozy, and we are going towards the formulation of another budget.
Sure.
And we are seeing that this target of us having a single digit inflation rate is fading. And that was one of the key indicators that this government targeted to achieve. But we still hope that they will still manage. Let's see how it continues to put in place economic fundamentals to stabilize the local currency. That will be vital for us, because you know, when you are in, especially those in cross-border trade, it is important, especially when you have a stronger kwacha. It helps us a lot when you exchange your kwacha. You have something tangible, as opposed to when you change. You have to have 20 kwacha for you to have a single dollar, that becomes too expensive. So we just hope that they will be able to address that. Now, moving on, what are some of the stories do we have as we look at some of the stories we are zooming in this morning?
We do have quite a number of interesting stories that are making the headlines that we'll be zooming in this particular morning. But first, we start with the most trending story, and this one comes from the police, where they have slapped a second charge on opposition Socialist Party President Fred Membe, who spent a night in detention at the Lusaka's Woodlands police station. Now, Dr. Membe was arrested on Tuesday, the 8th of August 2023, and has been charged with another offense of communication of certain information contrary to the laws of Zambia. Now, speaking shortly after being released on police bond, Dr. Membe warned the Inspector General of Police, Grafel Msamba, to stop treating the police like a political organization. So that's a story that was making the headlines yesterday. Let's have a quick look at this.
Opposition Socialist leader Freddie Membe has walked to freedom after spending a night at Lusaka's Woodlands police station after he was on Tuesday, 8th August 2023, arrested for libel against Deputy Inspector General of Police for Operations Muna Meambango, contrary to Section 191 of the laws of Zambia. While the libel charge was in effect Wednesday, 9th August 2023, the police slapped Dr. Membe with another charge of communication of certain information contrary to the laws of Zambia. In a statement by police spokesperson Ray Hamonga, allegations are that Dr. Membe and other individuals received classified information indicating changes in the chairmanship of the Central Joint Operations Committee, which is in a breach of the country's State Security Act. But speaking shortly after securing a police bond, Dr. Membe warned the Police Inspector General Grafel Msamba to desist from turning the police service into a political institution. The opposition leader says the statement by the Police Inspector General lacked merit.
The police is not a political organization. Borders on defamation of me, with or without us, it's unstoppable. Yes. They are trying to stop that cannot stop. Yes. It's impossible. As long as the injustices, the unfairness, the inhumanity of the system that dominates the world today continues in our homeland, this struggle will continue.
While he was in detention, Socialist Party supporters lost their cool and attempted to get crushed at the entrance of the police station. Before his release, Catholic Archbishop Alec Banda was among the notable public figures that showed up to show solidarity. The opposition leaders were also on hand and expressed displeasure in the manner the case was being handled.
It's not that the office of the IG is tied to a term of office of the president, no. So there is no need for the Inspector General of Police to speak as if he's a politician. He's a civil servant. So my call on him is let him surrender this case to either ACC or DEC. He cannot be the complainant and an investigator, an arresting officer in this matter. There is serious conflict of interest, I suppose.
Necessary attention on the nation. In fact, it's something that it's like Mulese Chalo. Do you see what I mean? Why can't we deal with these things the way they are?
That is going to align the affairs of this country if given a chance according to the rule of law. But we are seeing now he's not running this country according to the rule of law. He's running this country according to his own rules. He has personalized this country into his own.
In the end, smiles were the story to tell among the Socialist Party faithfuls. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Thank you very much. So that was what transpired yesterday at the Woodlands police station, where Socialist Party leader Freddie Membe was being held until his release on various charges. Patrick.
interesting story there in the political fraternity, and we want to hear from you, our dear viewers, this morning. Now, moving on, we want to also look at another interesting story where some social cash transfer beneficiaries of Lusaka have bemoaned the delayed payment of money under the program, as they have gone from 2 months. The complainants told the Camnet News that they have been frequenting the office and given details to withdraw the money, but several mobile has failed. Let's have a look at this story.
Some Lusaka-based social cash transfer beneficiaries are demanding for 2 months arrears from the Lusaka District Social Welfare Office. Formulated in 2003, the social cash transfer scheme aims to assist the most destitute and incapacitated households in society to meet their basic needs, particularly in health, education, food and shelter. As 2023 households without members with disabilities receive 200 kwacha per month per household, paid in 2 months at 400 kwacha, whilst households with severe disability receive 400 kwacha per month, which is also paid in 2 months at 800 kwacha. However, these beneficiaries of Lusaka province have bemoaned the lack of disbursement of funds under the program, despite assurances that money has been deposited in their accounts.
Naenda kuzoona vaniuza kuti aibwererane kuboma kwamene kuja chifukwa kulibe message manje waiba sevenza songa tangena mufutisa pakakonzero ndeva navafunza nati manje June isinafike na 1000 in August jeza June stila basiba na 40 wati moza August bazazi forality ndefunza amene avafunza so vaoneka sibafa kakonzero bazichitanga ati bangena ma offices bafa kakonzero kuona abantu bamene basebenza nawo chifukwa vafole apalise ndalama
kuna kuti katengele photocopy fufa kuna vitatu tipereka chape mu ndalama sizoneka ngoti pitana zibwera mfoni sizibwera manje mwana ulole mali zichitana ndalama uchito uyika pachijinga chichi so nipereka ko dandalo ndine mkulu sizoverenga ukafika mu kachitani photocopy tanowatulira ukabwera kuti kachiteni nini manje ndalama katenga liti mwana ule mali.
Speaking in separate interviews, the beneficiaries have lamented that life has become unbearable as they are unable to continue coming to the social welfare offices, leaving empty-handed, further accusing officers of demeaning reception.
Iya mukabwele mailo, iya ikai wallet yako, iya mwende kuzanako, mwende kuri bayeteo, ukaenda kuri bayeteo baje bakamba chibwelerani kwa mene kuboma. Mukabwela kuno bakamba chini bayeteo. Manje bebe na bayeteo, wanaitana bayeteo ni bebe. They suppose kuchita sort out inkani ndapo jumpa malodi apa tizabunkiwa benangu banapoya bafenta bambuya tina badoba kwenda kuja banaindo bafaka chan drip ati njala balibe na manzi yakuti bamwe ukagula chakudya okunogulira ko muzako for how long tizambo bwera kuno already zindrama zangena muri ino mandi then izi zamine zizabwera tizakazifola bwanji izi ngati sinatenge
bani niliko na dandaulo ndrama wanzatu wanatenga ni kudala then sisi watutumizia mwana tengera wazatu mweze mjuni Julai ni mkasi ndama sisiona hilo mwana wameni sunga ni mwana wale mala kutibonsa sashitira kamene hapo safu nzambo ipeza manji keda ndora metriko nayo kuboma tinamba kapani ili kija kubwela mpaka ni wiki ya sira ori kazi kika kamanje kama yambekezani bazanako pati bazanako sitiba hona.
When approached, officers at the district social welfare office declined to comment and referred this reporter to the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services, which was also not available as at broadcast time. Currently, over 1 million vulnerable and incapacitated households in all the 116 districts are on the program, with a total budget of 3.7 billion kwacha. For Camnet News, Afya Skaptula, Lusaka.
Yeah, quite an interesting story there pertaining to the social cash transfer scheme. I remember because you haven't done this story, should be last year, when last year or so. In 2021, I worked on this story on several occasions where people receive the voucher but they do not get the money. When they go to this mobile operator, they say this voucher is not reflecting, or it is not it has expired. Then you are not able to withdraw the money. Now the question is that who is getting the money? If you send the voucher and it does not reflect. I think this is another way for me of swindling people, where people go there and that money probably is withdrawn by unknown people who may in the process now, when these people are looking for this money, they won't be able to get it. So they will be given the money for the other month. So for that month they will be losers. I remember when we were also looking at the COVID fund that was also supported by the UN, we and UNICEF. We had quite interesting stories coming from the various citizens in various localities who were frequenting the district administration to just find out what is happening pertaining to that fund. And most of them cried of being disadvantaged. There were a lot of concerns. You know, Kozi, I want to bring it to your attention that you know, the social cash transfer, you know, in these communities we have people who depend on that money. Sure. Where, you know, in like, especially the aged and persons with disabilities, you know what happens is that you know, if you are a man or you are able-bodied, you are able to run and around, you can do a piecework, you get something, you can buy something. But for these people, usually it's not easy. That's why others, you see them begging in the streets. Sometimes others have invested the same social cash transfer money. Like you can order some tomatoes while you are seated at your household. You are able to sell the merchandise. Others are also using it as a hand-to-mouth arrangement, where you just get. But regardless, it's a social protection net that tends to help the most vulnerable in society, in that it has to cushion them. So if you have a look at that, it means that well, this fund means a lot to a lot of people, given that the number of beneficiaries has been increasing, especially under this administration. It has increased further. So it's something we need to explore. But if you imagine, if let's say, I'm going to give an example, if I have 25,000 beneficiaries for a month, now, and of the 25, 5,000 have received those vouchers that are not withdrawable. Well, imagine the money that is involved. Imagine the money that is involved. It's quite a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. So there should be a syndicate there. A systematic way of stealing. So, but how do we get to the root of this? I think heads must roll. We have to ask the Minister of Community Development and Social Development to get to the bottom of this matter, and they should treat it with the seriousness it deserves. But I understand that, especially when there are cartels to address some of these challenges, it is not easy. But I think that's where we have investigative wings, and the Drug Enforcement Commission, the Financial Intelligence Center, should take an interest in these matters that involve our people, especially vulnerable citizens. So it's something we should take seriously and not lightly, because if someone is getting a voucher and they are not able to redeem it, who is redeeming the money on their behalf?
I think that we really need to attach a bit of some importance to this matter, because we are talking about the livelihoods of some people that are really disadvantaged.
Exactly.
I remember some time back, the money just disappeared. And when the investigation started, it was learned that the money is somewhere in an account, in some bank account, seated. But we have people that are stranded, people that want that money, like they are crying every morning. How come the money? So I think that we need, as a country, to try and attach some seriousness to try and uplift the lives of our fellow citizens who are not privileged to have everything that they need, or maybe who are not privileged to have a better living. So I think we must. In fact, my other thought was there's need, I think, to increase also the monies that is given to these people. And also the people that receive this money, as you have put it, should look at now investing, because from the lamentations you can see that people really depend on this money and they have nothing else they can do. They really want this money. So I think there's need for us to also try and educate each other on how we can survive with the little that we have, try and sustain ourselves apart from waiting every time, like really waiting on it. It's I think
What story are we also going to look at before we usher in our guest?
Another interesting story that came through yesterday. Touching story. A 29-year-old distressed mother of Lusaka's Kalingalinga compound, whose child was born with both male and female sexual organs, is soliciting assistance from the government to enable her child to undergo correctional surgery. Now, Mercy Tembo, not her real name, unemployed, accuses management at Levi Mwanawasa Hospital of not giving her child's condition the urgency it deserves. She, however, appeals to the government to assist her child to undergo the operation to remove one of the organs. Let's have a look at this report.
Born neither male nor female, this family has to make a decision. It was joy when 29-year-old Mercy Tembo, not her real name, and her husband welcomed their child 2 years ago. Although this joy was short-lived after discovering that their bundle of joy was born with 2 sexual organs, the couple still live with the hope that after surgery, their child will be alright. However, efforts to have their 2-year-old baby, Anthony, not his real name, undergo an operation seem to face a challenge, as the family alleges that management at Levi Mwanawasa Hospital has not been of help.
So penambo Msambika nao notatu ndiraba naenda pakalingalinga nakamba situation stinga kwanisi ndani kulevi wanakamba tiai uyu mwana achepesa mukabwere February paza kwanza 6 months ndipo ifunika chana operation so bwererani so mwina bwererera ni February naenda nankara admit 01 tizina sina choki na bwerera naenda almost 2022 years akungoni bweza so this year makamba ti machine yafa April machine yafa ino ni August ana kwanza 2 years mwana sanzenzerapo meza nkara bwanji ndaniyo paficha mwana nda wanakamba operation afunka abakari mwana.
The distressed mother of Lusaka's Kalingalinga compound is appealing to Levi Mwanawasa Hospital to look into her child's case with the urgency it deserves.
Anifanya ntanzire kwa mwana huyu. Antanjizire kwa mwana akura. Na business na broke up. Nda month ni man. Then I'm going to know how to leave the space. Can space ya bwanji. Iva kwa fusa chini nyokufa. Meficha mwana zankara bwanji ndine mai pana. Nifuna mwana karibu no sifuna kanitirira akakura. Fake nilimbikiro enda. Yo time nanuza mara zamsta operation akaende kurabu nkaleta 100 kwacha. Napeza kwa doctor winangu. Ma doctor sizo ti doctor yake nuti nda ma doctor limo 7 mucha. Ukaenda doctor remba winangu. Next day upeza.
According to a medical expert, Dr. Teddy Mulenga, the child is suffering from what is known as ambiguous genitalia. This is a rare condition for female.
You have a child with a double organ. What the doctors do is to identify whether the outside organs are complemented in the inside. So if it's female and male, they will check inside. Is there a uterus? Are there ovaries there? Okay. Leaving the female reproductive organ intact, because outside, there's no point if it cannot be helped by the internal organs, because we can't create internal organs like ovaries, uterus. So whatever is missing from the two, if it's a female missing inside, they will remove the female outside organ.
Effort to get Levi Mwanawasa management response by broadcast time proved futile, as phones in the public relations department went unanswered. However, Camnet TV is keenly following up the case. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News. Born neither male nor female, this family has to make a decision. It was joy when 29-year-old Mercy Tembo, not her real name, and her husband.
Thank you very much. So that is a very interesting story, touching story that came from Kalingalinga, where a 29-year-old woman is asking for help to have her child go through a surgery to get rid of one of the sexual organs. Soko, it's interesting that we have such a story, and the family claims that they're not getting the much needed help from the hospital.
Yeah, so yeah, sometimes our hospitals can be neglecting, so that those challenges, we continue to report them. I think you are privy to that, because
sure,
and this is something that we need to see we follow up, because I know that Levi Mwanawasa has the capacity to do that, because they do also receive the medical team from China that also encompasses surgeons who are able to undertake various complications, and we also had the a graduation of surgeons recently. Some of them were able to do some of the complicated things that usually previously were difficult to do in Zambia. So Levi Mwanawasa has the capacity to do that, just like UTH. Equally, we have some experts who are able to do that. So I think what is important is that probably resources can be found for the child, so that because sometimes undertaking a surgery also requires some of the you need equipment to use, so that you avoid complications. Everything that is needed to undertake that procedure. Probably that could be an hindering aspect, but we hope that with the support from the government, even other cooperation partners, the child can receive that support and be able to be attended to. Now, we have been joined in studio with our guest for the day, and he is Isaac Nsoneka, and he calls himself the political enthusiast, and he is a Katuba Isupuke Foundation chairman. Okay.
You know what that means?
I need to know that.
Katuba Must Develop Foundation.
Okay.
I got it right, no?
Definitely.
Okay. I'm from the Western Province, but I understand this now.
Interesting. Welcome to the program. This is the first time we are hosting you on the Camnet Breakfast Show.
Yeah, thank you so much, Comrade Soko and Comrade Kozi here, and of course, it's wonderful to be here.
Interesting. To just get started, we are going to discuss various current affairs, especially happening in the country. And just before we do that, first of all, just tell us a little bit about the foundation that you run in Katuba. What is it about, and what you seek to achieve?
Interesting. So, as Comrade Kozi rightly, defined it, or rightly, what word did I use? Spelled it out to you. That Katuba Isumpuke Foundation literally just means Katuba must develop, and the core agenda of the foundation is to try and foster development in Katuba, which has been an issue for the longest time, since time immemorial, since it was, created as a constituency under then President Kenneth Kaunda. We've been lagging behind in as far as development is concerned across all sectors. I'm talking about education, I'm talking about health, I'm talking about road infrastructure, and all other aspects of development. We've been lagging behind. So myself and other like minds who are from Katuba, came together and thought of, coming up with this purpose vehicle that we are calling the Katuba Isumpuke Foundation, to try and, help in our own small ways to reach out to our people as far as development is concerned across all sectors. So we came into legal being in 2019. That's when we formalized the Katuba Isumpuke Foundation and embarked on a number of projects, which include water reticulation. We've had serious challenges with water in Katuba. As you may know, most of Katuba is a rural constituency, though we are now slowly becoming a cosmopolitan area, but we've been a rural constituency for the longest time. And water has been one of those main issues that our people have been grappling with. So we embarked on a project to sink boreholes in all the 8 wards of Katuba. We've done not less than 5 boreholes in each ward to this day, and it may seem like slow progress, but you see, when you are just a few people that come together and put together small resources that we push for, that we make here. There's only so much you can do, but I think that so far we are happy with the progress that we've made. The people themselves appreciate, and acknowledge our work there. It's not only the water issues. We also embarked on some empowerment programs for women cooperatives, empowered a number of cooperatives in almost each and every ward with various things, that we thought would help them, uplift their livelihoods even at home level, So there's a number of things that are happening, Comrade Soko. We also are very interested in matters youth. We've been sponsoring soccer tournaments in Katuba under the Katuba Esompuke Foundation, and this is a personal project of mine, that we are doing through the foundation, because I take cognizance of the important role that soccer plays in Katuba, And when we talk about matters Katuba, Comrade Soko, some of us we may look the way we look. We go to the barber shop and clean up nice, but we grew up from there. We are those who used to run around heading cattle, and literally raised by an entire community. So we understand very well, even when we are taking projects, even when we are embarking on projects, these are things that even we personally identify with. So youths have had many issues in as far as, being set on the right path is concerned. So soccer is one of those activities that bring people together in our communities. It's one of those activities that bring people together, instead of youths every time, finding themselves in the wrong places, doing wrong things. We thought to keep these tournaments, up and running each and every year, just to keep them busy, so that when the rain season stops, they're very busy during the rain season because they are all trying to farm here and there. But when the rain season ends and there's plenty of time on their hands, this is a time when they become vulnerable. It's a time that they engage in wrong activities. And so we're trying to curtail, those engagements in wrong activities by encouraging them to play soccer. I know there are many things that we can do. Through soccer, we've come up with a plan of formulating cooperatives, youth cooperatives, that we will identify through these same soccer programs that we are running, where we could empower them with various things, that they would want to work with. Like I'm saying, Katuba is becoming a cosmopolitan area. And as things stand, there are a lot of people buying plots from Lusaka and building homes. Most of the building material is coming from Lusaka. Building material, it's blocks, it's cement, it's all those things. So we are in a process of empowering some cooperatives with things like small block making machines, not at an industrial level, but on a small level where they can be able to make something at the end of the day, so that it's not just soccer. It is soccer, you play soccer, but after you're done playing soccer, where do you go? So we want to keep these fellow young people busy. Yeah.
Interesting. I think that was a well elaborated preamble there pertaining to the foundation. I hope the foundation will continue to work for the people of Katuba. We understand that rural constituencies have difficulties, especially pertaining to development. And now I want to find out something, first of all. Your activities, are they not being seen as an upfront or in competition with the people who are in authority in Katuba? And that, for example, that they are implementing the CDF and they are seeing you also trying to complement. Have you ever encountered such opposition to say, but why is he getting involved?
Well, you see, Comrade, there's in every aspect of life, or in every activity, good or bad, but mostly when good, and I say that it's good, that what we're doing is good, with all the confidence that I have, because this is what the end users of this of the activities that the foundation is involved in are saying. So you expect people with small minds, to not comprehend such kind of interventions. But there will always be those small people who think that they own the area and the rest of us should not take part in the growth of it. And when we hear such people, when we encounter such people, I think we are schooled enough, we are mature enough to know how to bypass them and how to ignore such little naysayers, because I think the agenda is bigger than individuals who think that they own the people, that they own the land. Where I come from, in the very Katu I'm talking about, comrade, we say you know what I mean.
Don't remind me of one comrade,
exactly, it has become a Katuwa slogan. So, exactly, so we really are not going to allow anyone to disenfranchise us. Because we are just as much as we're just as much, homeboys as they are.
Now, comrades, you comment a lot on governance issues and also politics, and our topic of the day there, we are looking at how is the tolerance levels pertaining to the UPND, because we understand that the UPND, we have hosted various leaders seated on where you are seated. They are indicating to us that now there is that political freedom and that political parties are able to go by their businesses now and be able to mobilize their political parties. How would you rate the levels of tolerance under the UPND, especially against other political parties?
Well, it's very interesting, comrade. And I personally have issues with people